currently this is only available in the web version of ENVD, but as I mentioned before, we're looking at how it's being used here, and then we'll roll it out across the app platform, and other features will evolve from there. So basically, what does that mean? If you're familiar with ENVD, we can create consignments. So at this point, I'm a sender of the consignment. I can create a new consignment, and what the easiest way to do is set up these existing templates. So you have answered all the questions. You kind of know what destination it's going to. So it's really good to use a template if you're sending animals to the same destination. And to do that, we just select the template. We can just set when they're moving. So I'll just move them today. We can then go and update the individual details of the livestock that's been moved. So for this example, I'll just put in we're moving 19 head. All of them have got tags. There's no rumen devices. So we can add that to the ENVD. And then to finish it off with the template, I just need to accept the terms and conditions. And at that point, we can submit the consignment. So it's really easy to create consignments that are pre-loaded up in a template. It's quite quick and very accurate for the receiver. To add the tags on, we can see that there's this new feature here to add the devices. So all we need to do is just click on that button, and you have the option to either upload the file, and as I mentioned, we can accept the reader outputs here, and we just look at the devices or the RFIDs that have been loaded up there and ignore all the other fields. Or if you hold that information in another system or in a book, you can type it in or cut and paste it in here manually. For this example, we'll just load it up using a file, and we can just pick a file from your computer. You can see it's loaded there, and then we push that through. So as I mentioned before, what it does at this point is it goes and checks in NLIS what the status of those devices that you loaded. So there's a bit of information being played back here, and this is just an example of how we can pick up inconsistencies on the devices that you're adding in the movement before it gets put through to the receiver. So here we're just representing a bad read or an incorrect device. So if there's something that's been added into there that's not reading correctly, or it's not a valid NLS ID, we can call it out here. To remove that, if it's a mistake, you can just delete it from the consignment. This warning here is just telling you that the device that you've loaded is actually not on your pick to send off. So that might represent maybe that animal's moved on and we've forgotten to do the transfer. So it's just calling that out so you can resolve that before that movement takes place, so that lifetime traceability and the life history of that animal is up to date and correct, and saving a little bit of confusion when it hits the receiver and not having to kind of fix that up at that point. So again, if it's just a mistake, we can delete that, remove it. It's as simple as that. And then here's an example of, like, if you have multi-species on your farm and you've just added in a device that's not of the right species, we can also call that out at this point. So again, we can remove that as an example. So then you can see that we've got a nice consignment here. There's no issues detected. And that's really all you need to do from a sender's perspective. So if I go back and then switch the ENVD from a receiver's perspective, you can see that here's the incoming consignment. I can see that the tags have been added through this little icon and it's ready for the movement. So if I want to go and have a look at those devices, and remembering that as soon as those devices are added to the consignment and it's submitted, the receiver gets full visibility of those at that point. I can go in, have a look at the devices and review what's been loaded. So you can actually do this before the animals are physically received. You can have an idea of what's been added, and see that before it's actually hitting your farm. The main thing to call out here is that at this point, if you're just interacting with your LPA profile within ENVD, you cannot do the movement you need to switch your profile to your linked NLIS account. Now, if you need help doing that, we do give you a guide to do that, or you can reach out to the Integrity Systems websites, and there's a lot of collateral on how to do that. But if you do not switch the profile at this point, you won't be able to do any edits, or conversely do the move onto your pick function. It'll be locked out for you. So it's a bit of a prompt to do that. In terms of what does that mean in reality, if you've linked it up correctly, you should see an analyze profile available to you. So in this example, you can see that it's indicated by an analyze ID. If we switch to that and then go into the consignment, we should see that we now have the ability to do amendments or do the movement. So to do the movement, we can have a look at the devices. If there's no issues there and we're all good with that, all we need to do the movement is just hit move on to my pick, and then that's it. It processes the request. It tells you that it's been submitted to the NIS. If you want further details about that movement, so if you need an upload ID or you want to just double check that that movement has been accepted by NIS, we tell you here that the movement's complete, and then you can drill down into the details. You can see the NVD number that's been added to it, the upload ID if you want to go into NIS, and if you want to just log in straight there and check it to confirm it, you also have a link to do that as well. So that's just a really short, kind of sharp demonstration of that new function. Obviously, there's lots of different moving parts to it, but it's really there to increase the usability and reduce the load on you guys in doing your compliance movements within LIS.